Today's video would be part of my how to make manga and comic series, and I am so excited to share this video with you guys. In part 1, I taught you guys how to express emotions through your panels using camera angles, shading, and all that good stuff. And in part 2, I taught you guys how to properly write out a script to help you guys envision your stories and figure out what happens next. I also taught you how long each script should be, how many scripts equals one chapter, how many chapters should you write out for every volume, and a whole lot more information that you guys really need, especially if you are looking to get published one day, be it self-published or get published by an established publisher. And in part 3, I showed you guys how to introduce characters and set the mood, show passage of time, and so much more by using different types of panels. And let's not forget my video about speech bubbles, where I taught you different shaped speech bubbles, when to use them, how many words are way too many words for your speech bubbles, and so much more. Don't forget to water my plants. So be sure to check out those videos, guys. The links are down there in the description box below. But in today's video, today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to take the scripts that we wrote together in video 2 and start planning out and drawing out the first drafts of your pages, so that after you watch this video, you can have a binder full of sketches that you can use while drawing out the final pages of your manga and comics, guys. So please be sure to watch this video to the very end, because I promise you, I have so much great information to give you guys. Every professional will plan out their pages before drawing them out, and the best thing you can do for yourself as a storyteller and for your readers who are going to sit down and actually read and experience your work is plan out your story, plan out your pages. Planning is the key to writing a proper story and drawing out a proper manga and comic. And if you enjoyed the video and found it useful, please share it with your artist friends, and be sure to show your support by giving it a big thumbs up, because it gives me a lot of encouragement, guys. And also, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you will not miss the next part of this series, where I will be teaching you guys all about inking and inking techniques and tools to use. Girl, we have a lot to cover. So, my YouTube babies, without further ado, let's get started. A few key things to keep in mind when deciding what type of panels you want to use is to remember you are the cameraman and director. Think about what you want each scene to look like, the camera angles, the close-ups, how much of the background you want to show, the lighting, the shading, so on and so forth. Really think about the mood. That's going to be the key way that you're going to know which panels you should use for every scene and every moment of your manga and comics. Now you need your script for this step. Guys, we are one step away from actually drawing out our pages. So before we get to that, okay. This is the exciting part to me, because this is when you begin to see your story come to life. It is time to sketch out and plan out our pages. We're going to combine everything we've learned into this next lesson. So step 1, ding, take some computer paper. What I like to do is take the paper and fold it in half. Once you fold your paper in half, you will have 2 pieces. So one piece will represent the left side of your book and the right side of your book. Try to envision this as being this, the left side of the book and the right side of the book. So while you're sketching out your pages on this type of layout, envision what you want your pages to look like when they open up your book. So now that you have this, what I usually do now is I take a black pen and I will draw a rectangle to represent one page and another rectangle to represent the other page. So as you're reading through your scripts, you should have made little notes on the sides, like I had told you to do in part 2 of my how to make manga and comic series. Super useful for this step. So as you're reading over your scripts, have your folded paper next to you, along with your pen or your pencil, whatever you're using to sketch, and start making little doodles based off of what you are reading off your scripts. Think about it as an episode of a show or an anime, like I told you a million times. Think about what you want it to look like. Pretend it was getting animated. Pretend it's a movie. Just pretend it's in motion. What are we seeing? At what angle are we seeing the characters? At what angle are we seeing the characters, the vehicle, the buildings, whatever is happening in the scene? What angle is it in? How many people are in the scene? And this is going to take you time. It's going to take practice. You're going to crumple up a lot of papers and throw them out, girl. But it's okay. Boo-boo, it's okay. No one ever gets to the first try. And if you do, congratulations, you're special. But honestly, don't feel bad if you have to try this a bunch of times. You want to go through this now at the planning phase, then drawing out a whole chapter and throwing it all out because you didn't plan it out well enough and you don't like it anymore. So plan it out real good. You'll thank me later. And when you're all done sketching it out, it should look something like this. A whole bunch of sketches, you planning out your pages, and you also have to plan out where you want the speech bubbles to go. But definitely when you're trying to decide where to put a speech bubble, you have to really think about what you're going to be drawing in the panel. There are no speech bubbles overlapping anyone's face. Speech bubbles can cover part of the face, but you have to really plan that out properly. You want it to be dramatic. You don't want to just cover their face up just because you didn't know where to put a bubble. Wherever it's red, those are speech bubbles. So you can also have speech bubbles overlapping a character's body. But this is your time to plan it out ahead of time and really figure out where you want the bubbles to go and how big do they have to be based off of what you wrote in your scripts. That's another thing to keep in mind. How big will the bubbles be? How much will they say in each panel? A lot to plan out, a lot to think about, and this is the time to do it. And now repeat this process for every page of your manga and comic, and eventually you will have an entire binder like this. You can also use a sketchbook if you'd like. However, I find that I make a lot of changes, I throw out a lot of pages, I scrap a lot of things, and I end up throwing out a lot of pages. So having a binder that I can very easily just open up and throw out a page from, that's why I prefer a binder. A sketchbook, I'm gonna waste a lot of sketchbooks, okay? So it's really up to you what you want to use. Some of you might be saying, but do I really have to plan out every darn page? Every page though? Yes! There are so many reasons why you need to plan out every page, but a very big reason is if you have 2-page spreads in your book, okay, and you don't plan it out properly, they're not going to land next to each other. You need to plan out where every page is going to go so that when you have special pages like this, okay, when it gets printed, they will actually land next to each other. So this entire binder actually has all of volume 3 and 4 of my published series, Sacred. Oh my gosh. So I know that many of you are probably wondering, how many pages should you sketch out before you begin to draw and ink out your pages? And honestly, that's a great question. There's one of two things that you can do, in my personal opinion. I like to draw out the entire volume, which is 5 to 6 chapters, before I even begin drawing or inking out a single page. The reason for that is I make a lot of changes. Most people do. I will change dialogue. I will realize while I'm sketching it out that certain scenes do not work out as well as I thought they would. So I have to change up the layout, change up the scene, even change up what they say just to make it all make sense. And that process takes a lot of time and a lot of sketching and a lot of work. You go through a lot of drafts. So I want to make sure I know that every page of the volume is exactly how I want it before I begin drawing it out. However, not everyone is like me, and you might want to just sketch out one chapter, then draw it, sketch out another chapter, then draw that chapter until you're finally done with the whole volume. And once you have all your sketches ready, girl, my boo-boo, my boys, my girls, and everybody in between, it is time to draw out your pages and ink those bad boys. And that, my friends, is what our next video from this series will be all about. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bells so that you will not miss that video, guys, and all the other fun tutorials and art challenges that I have in store for you guys on this channel. Please check out the other videos from this series down there in the description box below, guys. And don't forget to like this video as well. So until next Thursday, guys, please take care, God bless, and do not be afraid to nerd out. Take care, my beautiful YouTube babies. Mwah. Hashtag love my babies.